Hello everyone, Krydax here. Welcome back to our space exploration playthrough. Unfortunately, we had some audio issues in the last episode, and the game audio wasn't captured properly. That's due to me switching to some Bluetooth headphones, and OBS didn't automatically switch over, and I didn't think to check, so that will teach me to always check my audio. So what I wanted to do is run you through what I did in the last episode. I think it's probably too painful for me to redo it all. I think you guys as players know that that's maybe one of the worst feelings of all time, is when you have to redo a bunch of stuff you literally just did. So I'm just going to run you through what I did. It wasn't anything too groundbreaking, though it was a long episode because I got working on Rails. But the main thing I did is get logistics bots set up here. And they're circuited to place in a roboport if the available logistics bots is less than 100. So that way, it'll always place more bots into the network as we use the amount that we have. And I actually just remembered I need to do another one of these researches. So in space exploration, logistics bots can crash. And so Swarm Safety says that they won't damage things when they crash if they're in a network with up to 500 per research. So if I do another one of these, then I can handle up to 1,000 active bots, and when bots crash, they won't damage anything, though they still will crash from time to time. I don't think I've done anything else new in the base. At the beginning of the last episode, which is now this episode, I think I went through what I had done in the previous episode, which was more beacons on things, more modules and things, just making sure pretty much almost everything that gets mass produced has the level 3 productivity modules in it. And I think, I'm sorry, I'm having trouble remembering what's in which episode now. Here's my nuclear setup again. I think that was 2 episodes ago though, so I think I've already reviewed this. I did get nuclear fuel going, and this is for trains, because I'll call it the lost episode. In the lost episode, I set up the beginnings of a train network, and I'll walk you through all that. And I also set up a quick crafting station for mini loaders of the express variety so that I can have blue belts going into and out of my warehouse buildings. And that'll be helpful because we're going to need, well, we're just going to need them for trains and things like that. And then I set up some more green circuits that go to the stack inserters, because stack inserters require 15. Excuse me. Stack inserters require 15 green circuits per, and so I need a lot of those, and I want to build up a stock over time. And then I automated all sorts of random things as soon as I unlocked logistics bots, and I replaced a lot of chests with provider chests. So, for example, I automated the assembling machine 3s. I automated something else. I automated mining drills. I automated, well, you can see filter inserters, stack filter inserters, and the mini loaders. I changed, all the chests that are storing things into passive provider chests so that my bots can bring things to me. You can see here my logistics settings. I'm requesting pretty much a little bit of everything. I've got all the blue belts, all the different types of modules, engines and motors, batteries, heat shielding, low density structures, all 3 types of chips, glass, plastic. Oh, I automated big electric poles, medium electric poles, concrete, stone, pipes, you name it, stack inserters. So a little bit of everything. And I think that's it for changes to the base. Again, I can't remember if I explained this in the beginning of the Lost episode, but I also added some more plastic to make sure I have enough for all the red circuits that I need. So the base hasn't changed significantly in the last episode. I mainly got logistics running, and obviously I placed a lot of roboports everywhere. So that, no rhyme or reason, just to make sure we have full coverage on the main base. And then I have an extension of these roboports all the way down here. And I did get rocket fuel going. I can't remember if that was part of the last episode or not, but then I'm using that rocket fuel for the nuclear fuel. And it looks like the bots are maybe running out of energy flying between, you can see here, I have my train stuff is going to be down here, and then my nuclear stuff is over here. So they're probably flying in a straight line, so I need to get some roboports maybe down here to power. We'll put this one way down here, and they can fly here to get recharged. I maybe should put one more somewhere in this region. I'll maybe connect it this way, just to make it more likely they have a roboport to go to get charged up without them completely running out of juice. But I need more than that. I really should have a straight line between these two. You should never have big gaps in your roboports. It should be more of a convex shape rather than a concave shape. So it should have, you know, kind of a round shape rather than, let's see, can I click on? Yeah. So it shouldn't kind of go out and in. It should just be one big blob is usually the best way. That way bots never run out of electricity. One thing I do also want to mention is, I was going to say something about the bots. I literally lost my thought in mid-sentence, but anyway. Okay, so train network. So I did get the LTN mod alongside, oh, they're all, I don't know where those guys are going. I think they're trying to bring those to me, but then I left the network, and so now they're just putting them in a storage chest. I actually don't want a storage chest there. I really only want the bots to bring nuclear fuel all the way out here for the trains. So the train network, I have LTN and F.A.R.L, and it's kind of sad you didn't get to see me use F.A.R.L. I'll just go ahead and show you what F.A.R.L does. So I'm gonna need to get rid of all that rocket fuel. So I think I put it in a belt over here, and I'll explain all this here in a second, but first I want to show you how I made these tracks in the first place. So we need the train, and I guess 3 stacks of tracks will be good enough for now. And then you place the train, and then we add a cargo wagon to the back of it. And then it's got some fuel, and so in here we put rail signals, big electric poles, and tracks. And then, it's super cool, you have to set up the layouts, and so the way that you do that, and I still have them, thankfully, so I'll show you how you set it up. And F.A.R.L stands for Fully Automated Rail Layer, which is kind of hard to say, but there it is. So, essentially, you have this setup, which requires, and you can do a 4-lane, you could do 6-lane, you don't have to have big electric poles, you put walls and turrets in it, but it will use this as kind of the blueprint for how you want your rails. So I want 2 spaces in between, I've got a big electric pole. The rail signal goes on the right side, or on the main drive side. I think you can set this up in such a way that it's left-hand drive, maybe if you put the signal here, maybe. And then you need a chain signal on the other side. And then you also need a diagonal setup, so it knows how to do diagonal rails. And then you copy those into blueprints and put those in your inventory, which I had already done. And then once you've done that, you go into the F.A.R.L, and you click on your settings here, and you click on the blueprint, and you hit read, and then you click on the diagonal one, you hit read, and then you hit save into one of the layouts. And then it names it automatically 2 lanes with big electric pole. I turn off place concrete because I don't have millions of concrete that I want to place underneath my rails. And then I go ahead and I think I left all this the same, but there's lots of settings you can see. I changed the distance between rail signals to be bigger. It defaulted to, I think, just 15. So I don't need rail signals every 15 squares. And then you can also have it place logistic wires on each of the poles, which can help you send signals, but since I'm using LTN, I don't really need to worry about that. So I can drive this around like a normal train, but as soon as I hit start, then it will start in the mode of like placing down rails, and it's kind of like that Wallace and Gromit meme where it will place down rails right in front of the train as it drives. Super handy. So I'm actually gonna hit start and create a new, oh, yeah, we're going to delete that later, but, and then you can see I can just drive, and it will place the rails, it'll place signals on the right, it'll get rid of trees and rocks, and so it's a super handy way to create a rail network. Super easily, it'll connect up all the power, and that's pretty much all I did. I just drove to here to get to this iron mine. And so that's really all I did with F.A.R.L. And, you know, I'm just going to leave it there. And I also forgot to mention, I made jetpacks. And so I made my Power Armor Mark II, which just needed some utility science. I think that was another thing I did in the lost episode. So sorry that we lost some time, but we'll catch up quick. So the Power Armor Mark II, I really only needed things I already had. Low density structure. And so I crafted that. I made some more exoskeletons, so now I have 4, and then lots of batteries. And then these jetpacks. And jetpacks can use, they say, nuclear fuel, rocket fuel, or process fuel. And the more you have, the more you accelerate. So I can hit J to go into jetpack mode and then fly extremely quickly. I mean, you can see I'm going basically as fast as a train. There's a little, it's kind of like ice skating. There's a little bit of, like, if I just let go of the keys, I slide for a while. But it's definitely the fastest way I have to get around. And I just realized I need another cargo wagon because I stole one. And we'll place that down. And so I'll talk about this in a second, but first I'll go show you the depot that I set up. So we drove up here. F.A.R.L. automatically placed all the things. You can see there's rail signals every so often. And then I built some warehouses because they're an easier way to store things, because you can put, I mean, you know, 12 inserters on one warehouse, and that automatically balances rather than having 6 different chests that are all trying to balance. I find that this is the easiest way to get things loaded into trains. And I'm only loading the first 2 cargo wagons. You can see there's 6. Or I mean, I have trains that are going to be 2 locomotives and 4 cargo wagons. I'm only loading the first 2 for now because I don't think I'm going to have that high of a demand for resources quite yet. And then I'm going to set up the mine here and have everything bust down. And we'll do that setting up of the mine in a second. But I want to finish explaining what we did in the lost episode. So the last thing I did is set up this little depot area. And the reason I set up a depot area is because I have LTN. And I honestly don't know how vanilla trains even work anymore, especially with the 1.1 update. I'm really not sure what all it added. I have tried to signal this in such a way that I can't get deadlocked. Hopefully I did this correctly. You can yell at me if I didn't. I'm not totally sure how all this works. But I can add more depots as time goes on, so there's 1 train per depot. So they'll always have a home. And then with LTN, you make these special logistic train stops. And LTN stands for Logistic Train Network, if you didn't know that yet. And so you make these logistic train stops, and then you make these logistic, or LTN combinators. And I believe LTN Combinator is actually a separate mod from LTN, so you'll want to get that mod. It makes it a lot simpler. And then you connect it up to the light with a wire. And then you can select that this is a depot. And then these will be train depots, so I'll name them. I'll name this Depot 2. I don't think the name matters, if I'm not mistaken, because LTN knows that this is going to be a depot, because I use the combinator. And then, here, this one is a requester. And the request threshold is 1,000, which means it will need to be missing 1,000 iron before it requests more. So it's not quite like a logistics chest where it will just request iron as soon as 1 gets taken, and then it sends a whole train just to grab 5 iron. It will wait until it needs 1,000. And the output here, you have to make a negative value for how much you want. So I want 4,000 iron, so I make this output negative 4,000 iron. And you select items just like anything else that uses circuits. And then you need to check requester. And you can do providing and requesting from the same depot, but I don't. And so I also checked a setting in the mod settings that is called, let's find it, LTN. It's this one right here, finish loading. And I uncheck it. And what that means is when a train goes to fetch iron, and maybe it's requested 1200 iron, it will leave the moment it has 1200. Whereas if that's checked, it will actually keep loading until the train's full. And so I don't want that because I actually have limited storage here. These only have 512 spaces, which ends up being 256,000, I believe. Or no, 25.6 thousand is the only amount of storage I have. So I can only hold 25.6 thousand ore, and since I'm going to use this depot for all my types of ore, or at least iron and, you know, coal and stone, maybe I'll do a separate one for copper, we'll see. I don't want to overload this and fill it up with an entire cargo wagon's worth every time it goes and fetches. I just want to make sure it gives me exactly what I want. If I want 4,000 iron, I don't want to go above that. So I uncheck finish loading. The consequence of that is that the loaders up here, I'll need to get a radar going. The loaders that are loading into the inserters will end up hanging on to some iron because the train leaves as soon as it's full. So the inserters, you know, maybe they were holding 6 iron and they only got to drop 2 of it. They're not going to be able to drop that iron. So if you have provider stations that are providing with multiple types of resources, then that can go south. So you want to make sure, you know, if you uncheck the finish loading, you need to be a simple LTN user and you only provide one type of resource per station. So then this will be the unloading. You can see here that I'm unloading from all 4 trains using 6 stack inserters per train, and they unload directly into these warehouses. And I'm still kind of on the fence between whether I want to balance these two or if I just want to do something simple like this. And I want to unload into, I think I might just want to load this warehouse into this warehouse and not have to worry about balancing the two. That's what I'm going with for now. Later on, we might want to just balance the two so we can have more total storage. But for now, this will work. And other than that, I don't think you've missed much. I did get nuclear fuel going, as you saw, so that I can make trains go as quick as possible. And then I have the nuclear fuel being delivered here. You can see I have a few already. Or I have actually the 10 that I need. And I was just about to get these going, so I will put one... I'll put 1 rocket fuel in each, just enough to get it going. And then I will have this automatic, or add station, depot, I think this is depot 2, and go. And then once it stops, this turns blue. And now my LTN is saying no station supplying iron ore. So before I think it was giving me the error that there were no trains that it found. But now it's telling me that it hasn't found any stations. So. Oh, I guess it consumed the fuel and now it's in this red bar. So it'll go for a while before it even starts using the nuclear fuel. And then we'll have this one go to station 1. Automatic. And now these depots are set up properly, I think. And so those will wait patiently until there's a request made, and then they'll go out, get the thing, bring it here, and then go back to their depot. Just like logistics bots. So I'm going to fly up to our iron mine, and we will get our mining operation going. Get a radar placed. We'll just put it right there. Okay, and then we want this to be a provider, which I've already set, and the provide threshold is 1,000, meaning it won't show the network that it even has iron until it has at least 1,000 to give. I might actually change that to 2,000, just to make sure we're not providing small amounts. It's not going to matter since this is my only iron mine right now, but it could matter later. And then I am just going to set up my normal mining pattern, which we will get set up and then copy paste it a bunch of times. So it's 3 mines like that, and then I brought a ton of efficiency module 1s because I figure I might as well keep saving power and pollution. And then we've got a blue belt. Copy that. And I will copy the long version. I'll actually put it in my blueprint book. And then we will paste it here. I'll try to get this whole patch utilized. I may actually need a few more nanobots. We'll see. I did mean to grab some more transport belts, so I'm going to need to go fly over and get those. This is where jetpacks come in handy. I'm moving clearly much faster than exoskeletons. And as far as I could tell, there wasn't any difference between different types of fuel using the jetpack, because they can use nuclear fuel, they can use rocket fuel, I think they can use processed fuel, and I couldn't tell any difference, so for now, I'll just leave it the way it is. These guys are trying to bring me all sorts of things. Such a good feeling. I'm sad the last episode got messed up, because it was fun to finally achieve logistics, but, you know, if you guys have played Factorio before, you know the feeling of finally getting logistics bots. Why am I even here? Right, blue belts. So we'll take a bunch of stacks, and then I'm just going to get rid of all my rocket fuel here into storage, because I don't need that. And then we've got lots of undergrounds, but we'll get a few more. We'll get rid of these red belts. I'll take one more stack just to make sure I have enough. Okay, back to flying to our outpost. Okay, so we've got a lot of miners set up. Grab some more nanobots still. I guess I'm at the point where I could use construction bots in a personal roboport, but I kind of like the speed of nanobots. I think they might actually be faster. I'm not totally sure. Okay, so these are all placed the way they need to go. How many is this? Oops, that's per minute. Per second, that's 37. All of this together is 48. So these first 3 rows will be one belt put together, and the rest will be one belt put together. So something like this. And then these need to go over. Okay, so that should be not 2 full belts, but at least close to that. And then we'll balance those. And all together, that will give me 65 per second. And honestly, that is more than enough for what I need right now. And we can easily come back and start using this iron mine. Oh, I didn't get these. I want this little patch right here. That will bother me if I don't have it. So we will put those like this. And then connect that up. We'll connect it up to this one on the left because I know there's room. Okay. So this will be more than enough, at least for the time being, and we can always get more pretty easily. Okay, we've connected those up. I could use lane balancers and all that jazz, but I don't think I need to. I think belt balancing is fine for this purpose. And then we need some mini loaders. And now we have a full 65 iron per second. I'm not going to set limits on these. I think 50,000 iron is a good amount of storage. It looks like everything's running just fine. And look at that, creating delivery from Iron Mine Northeast, which is what I named this station, to my depot, or my unloading. I haven't named that yet. And the train arrives. we'll hop in our jetpack to follow it. And you can see the cargo contents. It will load until the exact request is met, which was 2024. And then the train will drive back, which it's very fast. And now it created another delivery because the amount was met. Looks like the circuits seem to have worked there, and then it will unload into this chest, which is unloading a little bit slower since I've only got 6. I might add a few more 90-degree inserters to make this unload faster, but that's pretty fast. At least for now, that should be plenty. And then it should go back home to its little train depot, where trains go to sleep at night, and then wait for further requests. So that's LTN. It's pretty sweet. I don't know with the new additions they've put in Factorio 1.1. I don't know how trains work in vanilla these days. Maybe you can do something closer to this, but I do know it's probably easier in LTN. I mean, unless they've made some serious changes to vanilla, it's not this easy. And then what we'll do is we will have an express filter mini loader. And we'll work our way around. You know, we'll have iron unload maybe there. And then this can be copper, stone, coal. I doubt I'll ever need more than one. And then uranium, I'll never need more than one. And I think that's all the ores. And then oil, we'll use a completely separate unloading station because oil's a liquid. So, of course, that wouldn't work here. So we would make another station, and then we'd have depots where we have trains that just have liquid wagons. I mean, I guess we could load barrels of crude, but I'd rather just transport the liquid. And we can have liquid cargo depots, and then those will be the ones that go get liquids. So it's pretty easy to transport liquids with LTN as well. So we've got our 4,000 iron, and then we will power all of these. And these filters, we will filter to iron ore. And now we can have, it won't be a full 2 belts because we didn't mine a full 2 belts in the actual mining depot, but it will be close to that. And I think just in the interest of space, I'll use undergrounds for the first little bit. And those should be balanced already, just with the nature of mini loaders, but we'll make sure. And then I will run this over and up, and I'll actually just attach it to this iron mine. And what we will do is we will input priority these two. And I'm trying to think of the best way to do this. So we kind of want to, this one come over and join in with this belt and input priority left. And then this one come over, join in with this belt, input priority left. So we will utilize the ore from this mine first, so we'll finish that out. But then if we're running short, we'll use the ore from the other mine. And then I'm going to upgrade these belts to blue. Let me make sure they're fully upgraded. It's hard to see. I guess you gotta look for the blue in between the iron. That needs to be express. So that is the slightly annoying thing with the new 1.1 patch. As you drag left and right, it up and down won't change what layer you're on, so it's harder to kind of get two belts at once. I think the setting can probably be turned off temporarily, but we'll leave it for now. It's not too difficult to deal with. Okay, so now we've got blue belts of iron. We can't do 2 blue belts both at once, but if one of them is maybe using a blue belt's worth and one of them is using less than that, we can still supply it fully. And we do still have 500,000 iron here that will be used, so right now we actually might be able to supply two full blue belts. Okay, so we accomplished... I'm actually going to show completed tasks, just so we can look at what we did in the last episode, just to make sure I didn't forget to explain anything. I explained power armor, I explained jetpacks, talked about logistics robots, the automated sack inserters, And then you now see that we have finished the basic train network for iron, which we started in the last episode. And the next thing I want to do is set up industrial furnaces with more productivity for all of my smelting. And then I want to potentially look at core mining and getting more oil, because I ran out of oil at some point when I was making a bunch of lubricant. So we are going to look at this. Let's get rid of our iron. So now I'm going to look at a furnace setup. I did already do, I think, a decent furnace setup up here for the glass. That's 6 furnaces to 1 beacon. But I might be able to fit 8 around a beacon. And I'm trying to decide if I want to go with the simplicity of a 6 furnace setup or if I want to go with a 8 furnace setup. So let's kind of compare the size of them. First, I'll need to craft a bunch of these. And I will actually get these automated because I don't want to be handcrafting industrial furnaces for the foreseeable future. So I will get my assembler over by our electric furnaces. And what's nice is we use heat shielding, which we can grab both without using logistics bots. And then we also need concrete, steel, and processing, which I do have steel right here. And this is where those Bob's inserters come in clutch. You can really move items a long distance. And then we just need concrete, which I don't have right here. And I have additional paste settings, which lets you right click and then, or shift right click and then shift left click, and it will paste 5 times the recipe. And then if you click again, it'll paste 5 more. But of course I want to cancel out the ones I already have here. But that's a pretty handy mod as well, because then you don't automatically do full stacks of everything, you just do the things you need. And then we will passively provide maybe 2 stacks of those. It looks like they stack to 20. So 40, we'll go up to 60. And that all looks just fine. I'll put some cheap efficiency modules in. I always try productivity. I know it's not going to work, but just in case. Might as well put some speed in too. That's using very little power consumption as it is. So, okay, there we go. Industrial furnaces are automated. That didn't take very long. Power of logistics bots. Also, I think I made these engines prior to the Lost episode, which you guys missed, which I'm still sad about. I promise I won't let it happen again. Okay, so industrial furnaces. If I'm just smelting one resource, I think I could make it, you know, fully skinny like this and pretty easily fit one belt of the resource on the left, one belt of the resource on the right. We can easily put stack inserters in between because we have 5, you know, we have 5 spaces here to play with. So I can put 2 there, 2 there, make them whatever lengths I want, and that's more than enough, I think. So I can definitely do that, and that has a total width of, yeah, these are 5 wide each. They're 5 by 5. So that's 5, 10, and then 3 more, so 13. So I can get 13 width with 6, but if I wanted to make it 2 wider, I could fit another furnace in here, like so, and make a square design, and then put the beacon right in the middle. The problem with this is the belts are much harder to manage. I don't think I would have to run belts, I think, along the outside, because if I have a belt come in like this, the problem here is that I can't grab from that belt. What if I put something like this? Yeah, because even if I have a belt all the way next to the beacon, I'll put it in the corner. Maybe the corner is the key. Maybe I can go over like that. but then we can't grab for this inserter, or this furnace. So yeah, I don't know if I love this design. It goes from 13 to 15 width, but it gives me 2 more furnaces, which is a third more. And what's 13 to 15? That's only a sixth more. So this is more compact. It's definitely more compact, but do I like it more is the question, and I'm not sure if I do. I do value compactness though, but I don't know if I want to play around with this until I get it to work. I guess I could always, because really it's just these 3 that I'm gonna have issues with. I think these 4 I do only have 4 squares here though to use inserters. So that would be these 2. These 2 could use these 4 squares. This could use these 2 squares. Oh, I'm being silly. I can just use a long inserter like that. So then really it's just this. So maybe if I do it this way, we can actually make this work. How many spaces do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times 2 is only 14. And we have 8 furnaces and we need 2 inserters each, because 1 in, 1 out. So unfortunately, I will not have enough squares. That is really sad. Is there any way I can make this better? I guess we'll just have to settle for... And the other question is, I don't think the undergrounds aren't long enough to go in between anyway, so I would need to do something like this. Oh, and that would only be for a half belt. Right, I'm not even considering 1 input belt, 1 output belt. So I'm just going to go back to the other design. I think it looks a lot cleaner, and it's not horribly less efficient in terms of space, and I think it's just going to be simpler. So we will have belt come in from outside. We will go underground, the back of this furnace, and at the front of that furnace. And I think that should tile properly. So it'll be at the back of the next furnace, which would be like that. So, yep. So that tiles properly with blue belts. And then we need inserters in and out. We'll have the output belt on the right. And we'll just have each of these buildings place on the side of the belt that it's on. So these will place on the right side. These 2 will place on the left side. And I think I will prioritize the input, because both stone, glass, and steel all require more input than give output, and iron and copper are equal amounts. So when I can, I'll make the input the 90 degree, and the output is the straight one, or the ones that have to stretch, for example. So here I'll make the input the simple one that only go 90 degree. And then here, I guess, I mean, these are stack inserters. I'm trying to think. Let's place some modules here just to get a feel. And I might use F.A.R.L mod just to kind of see what some good breakpoints are. But let's just say I do 3 efficiency, 5 speed, and I put full productivity in all these. That'll cost me quite a bit of copper. I get a overall speed, let's say I'm doing iron. The overall speed is 10.5 out. So we would need 4 of these to get just below a blue belt. So each one is really more what I was looking at is items per second. Yeah, I mean, these stack inserters are going to be more than okay with a stack size of 6. So I'm actually not going to worry about stretching these out. And another trick with Bob's adjustable inserters, so these inserters, you can see they're stretched out by 1. So that'll take longer than normal, but it'll take less time to stretch if I make the offset closer, because then they don't have to stretch out as far. So that's a nice little trick to use. And so I'm placing into all 4 furnaces. This one needs to place one up. There we go. I'm placing out, and then I also need to place out onto this belt. Which maybe I should put the power pole there. Do a grab and place down and close. Although, yeah, that'll be fine. Again, I'm not overly worried about the particulars of the inserter speed because I think they're more than fast enough to handle this. And then this guy needs to place 2 up like that. Although I can easily change the pickup position to make it even faster because then it's going less distance from here to here. And then place on the close side of the belt. Okay. So the output, input. The inputs for these, I think I've made them as fast as I can. Yeah. If I ever find the inserters aren't working fast enough, I can always change some things. And then, of course, this design needs to be... I think I can flip it vertically. Let's find out. And that will work properly. We'll see if that works. So, this one is having things taken out of it and placed into it on the proper belts. Same with that one. Yeah. So those two look good. This one, it's so hard to tell. Alt mode with Bob's adjustable inserters gets pretty messy, so that's getting input there, and the output is going here on the left side of the belt, and this one, it's these 2 inserters, that's getting put in, and that's going on the close side of the belt. So there we go. So that works. And then we just need... I might actually just go with substations to power everything. It's a bit... Is that cleaner? I don't really know. I think this substation will power the 4 before it, so that should work fine. So then we will use F.A.R.L mod to do a little bit of investigating. I don't remember what this was, but we'll just delete it and add iron plate. We don't have vulcanite yet, but it looks like once we do, we'll be able to have a much more efficient recipe. And we will have an output of 45. We will use industrial furnaces with 5 productivity modules. Beacons, I already got the beacon by factory to 1/6. And so now we'll just add speed modules until the number of factories becomes what we want it to be. I'm curious why the first speed module didn't do anything. I guess because they have minus 100% speed. That still should... Oh yeah, because each one of these in a beacon only adds 20% speed. So that still doesn't cancel out things. So we want a nice amount, a nice multiple of 6. I feel like something's off because... Didn't I just do that exact setup? Oh, I had 5 speed modules, not 3. Okay. Okay, so then we need... So let's see, if we have... Also, you can go to module priority and add, like, each of the tier 3s, and then you can click on them from here so that you don't have to scroll through this menu, which can be easier. So if we have 3, we're going to need sets of 6, and so that's a lot. It's going to be 5, 6, 7 sets of 6. Add a couple more. If we go full speed, we can get down to 3 sets of 6. But that uses 68 megawatts for one belt. Whereas if we go up to 4 sets of 6, which would be just under 24, which would be with 6 modules. Oh, interesting. We end up using more power, 71.6 megawatts. Is that right? 68.7? Yeah, 71.6. Okay. So it looks like I actually 68.7, 69.9, 71.6, 74. It just keeps going up. 77. So in this case, because of the speed hit that comes with productivity modules, I actually end up getting the most power reduction by having more speed. So this is a very costly endeavor in terms of power, but it will save me, I think, save me some space in the long run. It might not save me a ton of space just because these are much larger than the electric furnaces. So for a blue belt, I'm not sure which one will end up being bigger, but I only need 16, which is just a little more than 2 of these. 2 of these will be almost a full blue belt by placing all speed modules like that. So this is the design. I will actually take the recipe out because I'm going to end up using this for all of my designs. So we'll copy that, save it as full prod 3 smelting. And then we want to go ahead and use this design. I will need more substations. I still have not automated those. I should maybe put that on my to-do list, but for now I'll just craft a few. And so first we'll replace iron with it. I really need construction bots because my inventory is going to go crazy. So I'm actually going to do that now. Construction bots. I haven't even unlocked. That's kind of funny. Bot. Here they are. I could have gotten them a long time ago. We'll get the personal RoboPort. Looks like there's a RoboPort Mark II we can get later, so that should research quite quickly. We've got our full productivity 3s going, so all my research is as cheap as I can get it. And then I think they use robot frames, yeah, and just electric circuits, so we can just do the same setup here. Into a chest, stack size 1, and available construction bots is Z. So we will hook this up to here. If Z is less than 100, then it will place in. We'll limit this to 4 stacks, and we need to request green circuits, which I can never find. There they are. We'll do 100. Construction bots. And there we go. That should do it for construction bots. We'll give you some efficiency, because why not? It's free power at a small investment. Those efficiency 1 modules, I think they only cost like, yeah, 12 copper, which with all the productivity that I have is even less than 12 copper. Oh, and I also need to grab the robot frames from here. So we'll do this. That should do it. Okay, so now we have some construction bots, and I can use my deconstruction planner to deconstruct all of this. And I'm not going to touch that because I don't want to end up with 50 million stacks of iron ore in my inventory. And then I will add more storage. I might actually go ahead and research storage strongbox. And we'll do, that's only 100 utility science, that's only 200. We'll go ahead and do all these so that we can place currently I just have 8 different storage normal boxes, but I'd rather just have some big ones placed around the base. Though I guess if I'm being space efficient, these give you less storage slots per square they take up. Because these give you 48 and they only take 1 space. These give you double that, but they take 4 spaces. So maybe not quite as space efficient, but it looks maybe a little better. So that should be enough storage space for quite a while. And my construction bots are still busy. I don't have a ton of them yet, so it'll take them a minute to get this done. You know, I'm gonna bite the bullet and go with the nanobots. I'll have to craft more of those. And I'll let the logistics bots take things out of my inventory. Well, we have officially overloaded our both logistics and construction robots. I guess that's okay. We'll need more. We'll make another RoboPort. And I'll just move closer to storage because that's where they're going to need to take everything. At this point, maybe I should have just placed things in storage myself. Which I will do now. We'll get rid of all this. Stick. I don't need regular poles, regular inserters, yellow belts, red belts. I don't need any of that. Okay. I think I've... Oh, and I don't need processed fuel. We'll keep 1 stack just in case. Okay. They're still doing some work, but I think they're mostly done. And then we need... Oh, look at that. I need concrete. Tiny little space. I need to pick up all this. Just random detritus that didn't fit in the inventory. Okay. Got a little rainbow belt there, all the colors. And now we have some empty space. And we can place this design. And I needed, was it 16? 17, technically. And we do want to make sure we have a full belt, so that's 12. And then that would be 18. And we only need 17. So I can just remove one of these. Like that. And then I should put requesting industrial furnaces to 20. Not in logistic network. That's probably because I didn't put them in a provider chest. I did. Oh, interesting. Oh, there we go. You know what? I think I just wasn't standing in the logistic network, is what had just happened. Nanobot logistic interface allows nanobots to work inside logistic cells. Use healing items. Tree cutting. Oh. Configures personal roboports to start launching combat units when enemies are inside range. That's pretty cool. And mark items on the ground for pickup. Interesting. Okay. Well, those are handy things. I'm not really dealing with enemies right now, so I don't know how much I'll need them, but I think we need some more logistics here. And I also need to get these crafting automatically. I've just been handcrafting them, which is kind of a pain. So our ore will go to the left and up. And then we need to select our recipe. And that should be a full blue belt of iron. Which at some point I'll need to upgrade all of these to blue belts. But we'll at least get first few splitters upgraded. There we go. I mean, I maybe could just settle for 16. It's 44.8. Am I really going to miss 2.2 iron per second? Who knows? We'll leave it for now, but you know, it only drains 16 kilowatts if it's not running, so not too worried about it. But yeah, my power draw is going to be a lot bigger. I may need to copy my nuclear setup. I don't think there's any... I need to get rid of a lot of stuff still. I don't think there's any better power. Let's see. Nuclear only has one option. Reactor. It's a portable fusion reactor. And then there's an antimatter reactor, which looks like it's 10 times more power than nuclear fuel. But we need Naquium and extended energy catalogs and tier 4 research for everything. That's going to be a long time from now. So I guess nuclear or solar is the way to go for now. Once I get all of my furnaces replaced, I may begin crafting more. There we go, LTN delivery. I may change that to 2,000 because 1,000 feels like it's going to go a little too frequently. So we'll change. Let's see, we decided we have 512 stacks. Each 1,000 is 20 stacks. I think iron's one of the ones I'm going to use more of, so I'll change this to negative 5,000 just to make sure we have enough, but I'll change the threshold to 2,500. So that'll request a little less frequently that way. But it looks like the trains are all functioning. Do I have radar coverage down here? I don't think I do. Make sure we get a radar going. I should use my jetpacks. Makes me go way faster. So I think what I'll do is replace my copper lines with, you know, this more productive industrial furnaces along with my steel. Which for steel, that'll be a little interesting. I'll probably need, you know, my goal is to use one belt of iron to make steel rather than make a full belt of steel. So I'll probably do another of these to output a full belt of iron, and then I'll use a much smaller, or no, I guess it's the same size setup because that's how the crafting speed works to do steel. So it'll look about like this, just in this shape. And so we'll get all those replaced, and I'll do one for stone and glass as well. Stone to sand to glass, because I need that for, I need a lot of glass for solar. Because I want to start getting some solar builds. Flat solar panels, that's not anywhere close. Flat solar panel 1. Multispectral mirror. Requires chemical gel. Yeah, it's made inside space, so we're not going to worry about that yet. I think I want to produce quite a few megawatts just from solar so that I can save on UPS in the long run, because my updates per second are going to be hurting if I just copy paste this, you know, nuclear design 4 times. But for now, maybe that works, but I figure we can at least begin mass producing solar and place down a few thousand here and there, and over time we'll have plenty of solar power. And I also want to look into core mining and more oil, but we'll do switch all smelting to industrial furnaces. We'll do that first, and then we will automate solar and accumulators. And we'll put that somewhere in this list. And then I guess after that we can look to launching a rocket, exclamation mark. Because we are in that late game stage. I don't even know, how close are we? Rocket. Cargo rocket, silo. Rockets for ability, usable, safety, we're going to want to do all that. Satellite, I think that'll be the first thing we do. I mean, we essentially, if we wanted to rush there, I mean, I might as well do the researches. We could launch a rocket right now. I think we have everything we need. We would just need to make some of these control units, which are made out of things that we already have. So we could launch a rocket right now, but I think I want to get a little bit more solidified first, make sure our infrastructure is good to go, because we're going to need to mass produce a lot of things. And there's a checklist that I will run you guys through at some point that's on the FAQ for the website for or there's a wiki for space exploration, and they have a little FAQ, and they have a checklist of things that they recommend you bring with you to space the first time you go, and there's quite a few things. So I think it'll still be a few episodes before we get to space, even though I could probably theoretically launch a rocket in the next episode if I really wanted to. I don't see the point of rushing to that when we don't have what we need for space anyway. So we'll get the infrastructure figured out. We'll get some solar going, and we'll get some more oil on trains. So we'll have to set up a train for that, and then maybe after that we can start working through that checklist of space exploration items. But I'm going to call it an episode there. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you next time.